Good morning, everyone. I am Assistant Professor K.C. Panigrahi. Welcome you all on behalf of Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences to this AICTE-sponsored STTP. Let us begin today's scientific session with a virtual lamp lighting.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
It's a great privilege to invite our respected principal, come chairman of this AICTE-sponsored STTP, to propose the welcome speech. Sir.
Good morning, all of you. It is my privilege to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Gurudatta Patnaik sir, Principal, School of Pharmacy and Life Sciences, Centurion University of Technology, Bhubaneswar. Welcome, sir, to this 1 week short-term training program sponsored by AICTE. This is the third in the series, and I hope your lecture will definitely benefit all our participants. So before Sir starts his presentation, I request Dr. Gautam Jana to introduce Dr. Gurudatta Patnaik sir to the audience.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Gautam Kumar Jana, Associate Professor, Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, feel privileged to introduce the speaker of the first session of 5th day AICTE-sponsored STTP, organized by Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Professor Gurudatta Patnaik is currently working as Professor and Dean in School of Pharmacy and Life Sciences, Centurion University of Technology and Management, Bhubaneswar. He has completed his B Pharmacy from PES College of Pharmacy, Bangalore. He has completed his Master in Pharmacy from UDPS Utkal University, Bhubaneswar. He has awarded his PhD from Department of Pharmaceutical Technology, Jadavpur University, Calcutta, West Bengal. Having over 19 years of UG and PG teaching experience, he served various faculty positions at various pharmacy institutions of high repute in India and abroad, like National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Raebareli, College of Health Sciences, Mekelle University, Ethiopia. He published 40 articles in various national and international journals of repute. He has published 10 books and 1 patent credited to his account. He has guided more than 50 B.Pharm students, 30 M.Pharm students, and PhD, 1 ongoing under BPUT and 10 under Centurion University of Technology and Management. With this brief introduction, I welcome Professor Gurudatta Patnaik sir to address the gathering virtually.
Thank you, Dr. Gautam Jana sir, for your very nice introduction. So it's the time you passed. Definitely, you will get all those achievements. It's nothing more in that. Before I start my session, I must be thankful to your Vice Principal Niranjan sir and Principal sir and all the management to make this program a successful one, to make all of us busy and cut from the outer external environment, which is dangerous for us. So thank you very much, sir, doing this activity for our teachers. So it's my privilege to present today my related PhD work, which I am working still now, and fortunately, this has been related to the present demand. That is, let me share my screen now. Yes. So that is antifungal drug-loaded nanoparticulate pulmonary delivery system in vitro and in vivo study. So all of us know that this now the present demand is the COVID-19. Is a challenge for everyone. So after second or third days of the infection, COVID positive patient, so there is a high chance of this fungal infection in in the lungs. So in that sense, what I thought that if we can deliver one efficient antifungal drug, there are many antifungal drug, and if by our effort, by our design, if we can make those drug present sufficiently in optimum quantity to make a sustained availability at the site of action, definitely the people will get a very good result. So even on this paper, right now I am working to make it little modify to go for another publication. I have 2-3 publication on this. So let me move to the, that's why I have chosen this topic, antifungal drug-loaded nanoparticulate pulmonary delivery in vitro and in vivo study. So in the introduction part, as all of you know, skin and lungs are primary ports of entry for fungal growth. And its fungus is having certain size in micron, and their spores are more dangerous. We can load our drug, antifungal drug, to kill those fungus, but their spore may remain. So that makes a challenge for the scientist, how to completely make your lungs or your skin or parts, different organs, free from complete fungal growth. Its fungus is a kind of mold type of substance, which the spore, due to smaller in size, they will hide in the lungs or skin. It cannot be stressed by the drug. So that is the main challenge. So that challenge can be addressed by putting a maximum amount of antifungal drug at the site of action without hampering our blood drug level. Because as all of us know that this antifungal drug are mostly steroidal type of drug, and it has many side effects. It may damage one organ, it may change the pH. So many disadvantages of this drug are there. So our main aim must be that the drug will be present at the site of action without hampering the blood drug level in our body. So it's just an effort to make it success. As we know that it is very common, fungus spore in the mammalian skin or lungs are present, and which is spread by fungi from lungs, is mainly facilitated by thin alveolar epithelium, which is a very thinner, having a size of 0.5 micron. And all of us know the lungs is a rapidly equilibrated tissue. A very high blood flow is there to the lungs. So once this fungal infection will be there in the lungs, there is a high chance that it will not make it localized, rather it will transport those spore and fungus into the different parts due to this high blood flow rate of around 5 liters per minute, 5 liters per minute through the lungs. So these are the challenges I want to tell you. In that sense, delivery of drug directly at the site of action is a solution maybe. So we will deliver the drug at the site of action without hampering the blood level. In case of pulmonary infection, can reduce if you can make it directly available without hampering blood level, we can reduce the blood level of drug significantly while maintaining the desired therapeutic concentration at the site of infection. So here we will check the site of infection at the, suppose we are targeting lungs, at the lungs, the drug maximum amount or optimum amount will be dumped at that site, so that the main fundamentals is that if it is present in the site, it can maintain a sustained release and we will get a desired therapeutic effectiveness. Among the various antifungal drugs, as all of us know, that voriconazole is a comparatively newer member of the triazole group that has better efficacy and safety profile as compared with other members. So there are many other members like ketoconazole, like amphotericin B, but these are having little more toxic in nature. So that's why I have chosen this voriconazole. And the physician are also, it is already proven by the different publication, and they are practiced in the clinically also it is practiced. So furthermore, there is also a need to improve the drug loading. So when I found this nanoparticle, always those who have the experience on the making the nanoparticles, it's always a challenge to how to improve the drug loading. So if we can improve the drug loading, we can inversely we can reduce the polymer load. No doubt the polymer we will use, which is biodegradable, but we should not unnecessarily increase the polymer load, because no doubt it is biodegradable, but unnecessarily if it will be loaded, it may hamper the releases. So if we can increase the drug loading, we can reduce the polymer load. One reference I have cited here, Peng et al. Have reported preparation of voriconazole nanoparticle using biodegradable polylactide co-glycolide PLGA polymers with just 2% drug loading. It's very low. As all of us know, that to show its proper therapeutic effectiveness or show its proper concentration maintained, is requirement of drug is 50 to 100 mg in human. In that sense, we need to load much polymers indirectly with the drug. To make the drug available, we have to load the polymer. So that is another challenge, how to improve the drug loading of voriconazole in the particle, in the nanoparticles. The aim of the study was determine whether or not voriconazole loaded PLGA nanoparticles intended for pulmonary delivery provide sustained tissue levels of the drug when administered at experimental animal. So I have used some experimental animals with the Animal Ethical Committee permission, and my main aim is to see that whether the particulates containing voriconazole is present at the site of action or at the site of infection, rather I should say at the lungs, in optimum amount as a storage to make a sustained tissue level. And this study can also relate that at the initial stage I said, it also relate to present a consequence of COVID-19 associated pulmonary aspergillosis. It is known as CAPA. So this COVID-related associated pulmonary aspergillosis, CAPA, is a common symptoms in case of COVID positive patient. After 3 to 4 days, by X-ray, chest X-ray, or by CT scan, we can know this fungal growth is there at the lungs. So my effort is that if by the means, by using these things, if we can make our drug possibly present at the site of infection, we can make the patient relax or make the patient out of the fatal conditions. All of us know that patient may recover from the COVID-19, this viral infection, but he will move to the ICU or this oxygen support and move to the fatal conditions. So this situation can be avoided if we think on this, and we can improve this product. So main objective is that this study we report preparation of voriconazole nanoparticle VNPS using PLGA with improved drug loading as an alternative control delivery system of voriconazole directly into the lungs. We will put the drug in directly to the lungs. So in that way, I made some different types of nanoparticles like porous and non-porous. I have seen that porous particle were developed, their deposition on the animal model, which was studied very thoroughly. Further, I made it loaded. That particle will loaded with fluorescein isothiocyanate. So that is FITC to study the localization in the lungs by means of confocal microscope. So this thing I am going to discuss now. So my main purpose I have already stated on you. Now I did many work on this. Even the work I am carry forward for the further study to make it maybe available for the human beings. So then can then come to the methods. So in the methods and materials used, so voriconazole was a gifted sample from Dr. Reddy's Laboratory Limited, Hyderabad, India. Lactose monohydrate I have used for a different study and make it DPI, which was purchased from Loba Chemi, which is having a very micronized grade. Then other ingredients like polyvinyl alcohol from SD Fine, PLGA. As we know that PLGA is available of different grade, having molecular weight 50,000 to 75,000. That is lactide to co-glycolide ratio. They are present in the two different ratio, lactide and co-glycolide ratio. I have used here 85-15. It is also available in 50:50, 65-35. So different grade are available, and important is its molecular weight. So I have used 50,000 to 75,000 of Sigma Ultras India Private Limited, Bangalore. So this is a very expensive chemicals which we are working now. Our research scholars are working now at our university. Hydroxypropyl beta cyclodextrin, HP beta CD, from Sidex Pharma. We purchase then sodium bicarbonate for making it porous from Merck Specialty Private Limited. FITC was purchased from High Media Laboratory, Milicu grade water from Bedford, Massachusetts, which was used in this experiment. So those are the complete chemicals which I purchase or make it available for my experiment. Then regarding the animal, I used the Swiss albino mice of either sex, male and female, weighing 20 to 25 grams of approximately of same age were used in the study. The experimental protocol were approved by Jadavpur University Animal Ethical Committee, and procedure followed were in accordance with the committee guidelines with necessary human care. So come to the experiment now. So we know that when we start to do any product, any dosage form, any vehicle, so we have to first go for FDIR. So I went for FDIR by taking the voriconazole PLGA nanoparticle, voriconazole PLGA physical mixture, PLGA and voriconazole. So these are the consolidated this FDIR graph. So from this graph, we have concluded, so there is no such significant interaction. There is no such interaction which will really affect the effectiveness of the products. So in that way, means which will permit me to move forward to go for nanoparticle, making the particles by using PLGA 85-15 grade with voriconazole. Then this is the method of preparation of the nanoparticles. I did in the very preliminary stage. You have to make some work in the sense, first we will do by taking some reference, maybe by taking some reference from the different publication to make the initial part of the nanoparticles. So once you will get this formulation, then we can use the different softwares. Nowadays it is very much available, like Statistica, like JMP, which I am using now. So at that times it was only Statistica. So then we will find out a optimized formulation. So this is what we can optimize the formulation. So this is an overall sketch of making the nanoparticles. So you can see here the PLGA first dissolved in DCM. It is dichloromethane, which is a banned solvent, no doubt. So that I will tell. Because why DCM I have taken? Because PLGA is a very much soluble in the solvent, that is DCM. If you will take ethanol or other kind of chloroform, so it is less soluble. So for getting the nanoparticles, the smallest size, to making it smaller size, we need to choose one solvent where the solubility of the polymer will be maximum. So that is the reason why I have used this dichloromethane PLJ dissolved in DCM, which is homogenized by the high speed homogenizer. So when I homogenize it, during that time I made a solution of again DCM with voriconazole. Again, voriconazole is water insoluble and soluble in DCM. This will be put at drop by drop to make it to produce W by O type emulsion. Then this primary emulsion will be added to PVA solution. PVA I made in two concentration. So one is 2% weight by volume, another is 4% weight by volume. So here 4% weight by volume solution to this W by O type of emulsion I have added with again a continuous homogenized conditions to get a multiple emulsion W by O by W type of emulsion. So this W by O by W type emulsion, it's called multiple emulsion, so triple phase emulsion. So this triple phase emulsion, as I have mentioned, that I use DCM, dichloromethane, immediately just after formation of this emulsion, I need to remove the DCM completely. So that is my major target. So for that, without wasting any more time, W by O by W type of emulsion will be quickly put it into rotary evaporators for the removal of the all organic solvents. So you can see here in the next box, this has been removed, somewhat removed. Even then some trace amount of DCM may be there. No doubt DCM is very evaporated in nature, but maybe traces will be there because of this W by O by W type of emulsion. So for that, overnight steering for complete removal of organic solvent I followed. Whole night this has been steered to make the DCM completely evaporated. And then the next day, what we have to do, we will go for the centrifugation. So this centrifugation is mainly done for washing purpose. Because why washing? Because when we are putting the drug into the vehicle, load into the vehicle, so there may be high chance that drug may be present external part of the vehicle. It may be it may not enter into that particles, may not complexed with that polymers, so it may be present at the surface. To remove all those drugs, so we have to follow this washing purpose. So this washing will be done by centrifugation. It's not normal centrifugation, it's a cooling centrifuge having a very high speed value of 17,000 rpm. So with that rpm we need to make it wash properly, so that the drug which will present outside will move out, goes out, will be washed out. So now we can make a calculation on by doing that assay also. Then after this, once we will make it washed, now you have the particulates which contains the drug loaded particulates we got. Then we will go for the freeze drying process. So this freeze drying process is all of you know that 24 hours, then last 2% is very difficult. So first 3 hours, then 24 hours to remove the 2%. So it is in 2 stages we will do. Then finally we will make a we will get the dried products of nanoparticles. Now we can say it's a particle, dry product of particle like powder. Then we can store it in a deep freezer or go for different evaluation. So this is what the process we need to develop it. We can, there are many other processes. So this process is known as multiple emulsion by solvent followed by solvent evaporation methods. So I have used this. So there are other processes also you can adopt, but we have to optimize this process. So we can change, even we can change the DCM. We can replace the DCM with other organic solvent where the solubility of PLGA will be maximum. So in that way, we can give a combination of this solvent. So this is depends how you are working. So it need time. So once you will we will get the product, then this product, it is the initial product, it is initial stage. Then what you have to do with this initial stage of the product, once you will get, we know that these are the factors. So when we will go, there are many factors like solvent. There are many factors like speed of the homogenizer, like a ratio of the this porosity making substance. So those factors we will take. We will select some of the response in the sense whether it is sustained release, whether it is smaller particles or larger particles. So with those factors and response, we can take the help of the software. So I have taken a TIPCO Statistica software there, and to get, why use this software that I am saying, to optimize your formulation. So it will give you around 100 or some 80 number of formulation, which is the best suited formulation. So I have used this, but now in our university, very recently, 7 days back, this JMP software, it's now known as JMP software for design of experiments are available. So I am planning to use this software to get a maximum more perfect result. So once I set up a formulation, then we can go to reproduce this formulation. This is what my formulation table by using the Statistica software. I have not given all those value because it is yet to publish. So I use the surface analysis methods, all other methods. So mainly I use the central CCD. So that methods I have put it and got all those results is there with me, which is a little bit secret. So anyway, this is what the table I got, that NP1 by taking voriconazole 20 mg to find out the loading percentage, PLGA content 256, effervescent composition. No, I have not given NP2 54, NP3 62.5, NP4 250, NP5 250 with the polymers loaded 258 and 256. This is the polymer I have used. With NP5, I have used one effervescent forming substance like sodium bicarbonate and citric acid to make it porous, to see what is the effect of porous substance. And I found this NP4 and NP5 are more efficient by using this software. This is this we are getting a best result because to get the optimized formulation, we need to do some of the trials, some of the evaluation tests, like release test, like loading experiment. So if you will do this, those are the factors or response we can use in the software. So if we can put those things, we will get more perfect formulation. So this is what my idea. We can do it in our lab, in your computer you can do it. So when I found or expect these are NP4 and NP5 is the best formulation, what I did with the same formulation, I repeated with FITC coloring agent. This NP4 loaded with FITC coloring agent, FITC 100 micro μl, and NP5 also 100 μl. So this FITC coloring agent loaded nanoparticle, it will give you an evidence that your drug, your nanoparticles are localizedly present in the site of infection. That means it is present in the cellular level epithelium cells of the lungs. So that I will prove finally. So this is what my optimized formulation I did. So then all we know that we must go for physicochemical characterization of the nanoparticles. In that, the drug loading is most important. So this is the formula. Actual drug loading percentage is equal to amount of drug present in the nanoparticle divided by weight of nanoparticle sample analyzed into 100. That is, the result will be in percentage. Encapsulated efficiency in percentage is equal to actual drug loading by theoretical drug loading into 100. So by using those formula, so here I got this table. This table will show you that NP1, NP2, what is the theoretical drug loading, what is the practical drug loading in percentage with standard deviation, and what is the encapsulation efficiency in percentage with standard deviation by 3 replicate. SDN is equal to 3. So when I use this, what I found, this NP4 and NP5 is having the maximum encapsulation efficiency. It is 62.4% plus minus 2.6. It is 62.8% plus minus 3.1. So this is how, which will provoke me to find out this NP4 and NP5 is more standardized formulation for me. So I also follow some of the graphs, some of the evidence to make it more prominent for the research. So this is what the graphical relationship between drug added. First one is drug added versus drug loading. You can see here it is very much linear. So that means if you will increase the going on adding the drug, this drug loading to the vehicle is also increased. So the second B figure will show you the drug added versus encapsulation efficiency. When increase the drug into the formulation, the encapsulation efficiency percentage also increase linearly. And also the drug loading versus encapsulation efficiency, it's also linearly moved. So in my formulation, this evidence will show that when I put it by using those methods, the drug loading into my vehicle nanoparticle is also increased. And R square value is 0.09, 0.99, which is means nearer to 1, so which is a better process. So this thing, what I did by using HPLC, I never use UV because there may be chance in UV spectrophotometer due to smaller amount of powder or particles, it give you an error. It may not detect those drug may be there, but it may show 0% drug. So in that case, I faced many problems. So therefore, I use the HPLC, and every time I use the calibration curve and find out that area. So this is what the evidence. Next is to study the surface morphology by using field emission scanning electron microscopy, FESEM. So these are the picture. Surface morphology, we can study the surface, what is the particle size, at least roughly we will know, as well as the surface morphology, whether it is porous, whether it is non-porous, as well as the shape, whether it is spherical, whether it is cubical. So from this picture, we can see that most are in spherical shape, and mainly this G figure, you can check here, it is showing the magnification of 75,000x magnification. It's showing the porous, small pores are present on the surface. So it's proof that this formulation, by using that formulation, we can get this kind of particles, nanoparticles. Next, I went for particle size zeta potential measured by photon correlation spectroscopy methods by using zeta sizer nano ZS. So from this value, what I found that the particle size is vary between 378 nanometers to 207 nanometers. So I got the particle size because this NP4 and NP5 is the standardized formulation for me. I got around on an average, this is average particle size, 207 nanometer to 291 nanometers. But believe me, nowadays in the lab of Jadavpur University Vishwajit Sir lab, people are getting less than 10 nanometers easily. So this is the work I did very long back. So at that time it was 207 nanometer to 291 nanometers. This is the dispersibility index, and here you will find this zeta potential is in between minus 20 to 20.2 to minus 23.8 or minus 21.4, 19.9. So this what so in the nanoparticles, as I studied, that the stability, the particles will stabilize in case this zeta potential value in between minus 30 to plus 30. In this case, it is in between this. It is not beyond. So that which is indicating it is little bit unstable. It is not stable that much. So this instability maybe because I have test this zeta sizer. When we will test it by putting the cell, we have to make it into solution. We have to put the solvent. So when we are putting this particle into the solvent, it becomes unstable. So that is why I can prove, I can evidence that my particle, I must store it in a drier state, not in a liquefied state, not in a suspension form, not in a colloidal form. So I make it dried and make it into particle, not in colloids. So that is what I prove from this particle size analysis. Now, very importantly, all of us know that we will make a drug release study. So how the drug has been released, so it is little bit hazy over here. So anyway, the drug release I have studied by using this Secker incubator. So this Secker incubator I have studied for more than 15 days, 1 month even I have studied there in the lab. So by making those into group or batches, so this is this you can see that the solvent, releasing solvent, I have seen of I have shown here of different grade. Like I have used the plain water, I have used 10% sp beta cyclodextrin, 20% sp beta cyclodextrin, and I repeated for NP3 formulation, NP4 formulation, and NP5 formulation. 10%, 20% beta cyclodextrin and water. So this is what I did it. So when I did it, I have seen that this NP3 formulation, initially it shows a very low value, whereas in case of NP4 and NP5, it shows little bit higher value in case of water. So from this we found that the release, you can see here another graph. From this graph you can see here, so at 90 hours, so the NP7, this is the lowest one, is the NP7, is almost 45 to 50% release in 90 days, whereas this NP3, it is 70 to 80% release in 90 it is in 70 to 80% release in 90 hours. So I can claim here my formulation, this NP4 or NP5 can take 180 days or even more to complete a release of the drug. Whereas in case of NP3, the release of drug is little bit faster from here. So this is a consolidated graph. This side, left-hand side also a consolidated graph in different form. Now, as you know, I have mentioned that I will deliver the drug directly into the site of infection, that means into the lungs. So when I deliver the drug into the site of infection or into the lungs, I have to adopt like some aerosol, some DPI. So here in this case, I have formulate my nanoparticles into dry powder inhalation form. Dry powder inhalation by different formulation that I have not shown here, by using lactose, DPI I made. So once I made the DPI, I have to check it. The in vitro methods, in vitro method of deposition and in vivo method of deposition. So when I put this drug directly into respiratory tract, it is very important that it is when it is moving a smaller particle, you think a smaller particle is in having some velocity, it is moving. So when it is moving with the inhalation and exhalation process by normal human being, the most important thing is that the the particulates must be deposited. It must be deposited, but it is, we have to study it, we have to prove some evidence, proper evidence. It must be deposited. It's not that it move inside and comes out, move inside and comes out. So there is a high chance. So deposition we have to check. Again, this deposition depends on the velocity of the air, in what velocity you are putting the drug. Second is the size of the particulates matter. So I try to make it some evidence that how my particles, which formulation particles is having deposit there at different part or lower part of the respiratory tract. So I made two experiment here. One is in vitro deposition of NP4 and NP5 I have taken, because this is the best formulation as per my experiment. So I did it by Anderson cascade impactor. So it is a cone shape impactor having the stages, having the plates, you can say, or petri dish. On the petri dish there is a silicon coating, so to hold all those particles. So from here, with the vacuum or negative pressure, the powder will enter, and once it will enter, it will cross the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. So there are 7 stages in my at that times in that impactor. So that different stages will hold the different size of the particles. The same particles, that like size separation, sieving experiment we did. It's nothing like, it's a plate. So once we will move those particles through that cascade impactor, Anderson cascade impactor, so the experiment will complete it. Then I will take out the different stages or plates and find out the particles, how much particles stick where. So it has been found that the particle size range between stage 4 and stage 5, most of this F1, F5 and F4 formulation are got deposited. So, and p value is more than 0.5. It's significant. So I found that at this stage 2.1 micron, and this stage 5 is 1.1 micron particles will got deposited. This is what the in vitro study. This will give you one idea to find out. This is what it is called, mass median aerodynamic diameter. This is not simple diameter. It's called mass median aerodynamic diameter. So this diameter will give you an idea that the drug will deposited in the upper part of the respiratory tract, or it will move to the inner part of the respiratory tract into bronchial part or bronchial tree, or it will be at the upper part of the nasal tract. So it depends that this, if the particle diameter will be larger, it will be remain at the upper part. If it is the smaller, it may move into inner part and bounce back. So there is a high chance of bounce back. But if this particle size will be in between, it will move and stick. So that it will prove. And this is one in vitro evidence. So from this, we can go for in vivo study. So in the in vivo study, again, I made this inhalation chamber, which is very common, put at this mice, and this mice will be taken those air of the particulates matter. Then I sacrifices the mice and take the lungs and find out. From this graph, you can see here, initially, in the initial dose, this is the lining is the F5. F5 is showing 120 microgram per mg lungs. I have taken the lungs and find out. Whereas N4 is showing around 74 mg microgram per mg lungs. And we will see here, if you will compare this up in 120 hours, after 120 hours, this F4 formulation is showing less than 20 microgram per mg lungs. Whereas in 120, after 120 hours, this F5 formulation, which is porous in nature, it's showing around 45-50 microgram per mg lungs. And after 120 hours, there is no evidence of the drug present in the NP4. This is the retention I did. So there is no drug is present, no NP4. Whereas even after 168 hours, you will find that there are a significant amount of drug, around 40 microgram per mg in the lungs. So that means the formulation, what it is saying, that N5 formulation, once it will reach there, I take all the precaution to make it available or reach or deposited. Once it will be deposited, it can be remain at the same part, maybe for the 7 days or 8 days. Whereas NP4 formulation is showing that it can move, it can reach there, but it not be available more than 5 days. After 5 days, 120 hours, there will be no NP4. So NP7, even after 7 days, you will find 50 microgram per mg drug are there in the lungs. So which give a proof that the drug can be available at inner part and can show its sustained release for another 10 days times to make the patient cured from the fungal infection. So this is the I think we are almost last stage. So this is the confocal laser scanning microscopy CLSM study to get the evidence of localization of the drug at that lungs. So I have, as I said, that I made the formulation NP4F, NP5F initial slide, and then I used the same methodology. I sacrificed the mice, then I have make a comparison. So from this, I found that the drug, this is the lungs, this is the voriconazole, and this third one is the drug with the lungs. So it is present sufficient amount, it will be present in alveolar epithelium. This part is the bronchiolar epithelium, and this part is the capillary. So at this part, the presence of the drug is there for even more than 10 days for a sustained effectiveness on the fungal attack. So I'm telling you, if we will if whatever the things with evidence I have shown, if you will succeeded, definitely we will reach to treat those fungal infected patients. But it is very, very difficult. I am again tell you, because this fungal spore are very, very minute, very, very smaller in range, and they will really hide. They will really hide in the lungs part. It is difficult to remove it from the fungal spore. But it's an effort to make it. So this is what the proof that the drug is available at my targeted site or targeted infected site. So we will move to the conclusion now. A more sustained presence of the drug in the lungs was observed when porous particles were used compared to non-porous particles. So that all know that porous particles having more sustainable actions. In vivo imaging of mice lungs tissue after FITC voriconazole particles administration showed the particles were uniformly distributed in the lung section. That from the picture we found. Further, porous particles were better deposited in the deep lungs region than the non-porous particle. However, a better formulation approach is necessary to increase the deposition further. So that what I am trying now to make it more better by using different software. The clearance of the nanoparticle from the pulmonary region should also be modulated. I have not seen it to increase the residence time of the particle in the lungs. We need to work more to increase the residence time. Residence time, it is not reside for a longer time. So if we will make some approach, it will reside at the site of infection even more longer period, which will be helpful for the human being for complete treat the patient from the infection, fungal infection of human. Let us all try and live with hope and with faith in ourselves and each other. Look forward to better time to come. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much, sir, for your nice presentation on targeting antifungal drug to the lungs. So there are a few questions from the participants. So I would
Sir, am I in time?
just
Time?
yes, yes.
Sir, am I in time?
Actually,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Sir.
So this is one question from the participant.
Can you explain elaborately how you perform drug release studies, Secker incubator, in this official accepted drug release study? Yeah, that I did for 2 months. 2 months I make it into batches. So three formulation I have taken. So first day which I have taken, after 7 days again I have put it the drug in the solution in the solvent. I also mentioned the different solvent, water 10%, this 10% and 20% is solvent I have taken. So this batches, what I did finally I have taken those drugs, and through HPLC I found that what is the concentration by HPLC methods I did. So the last sample I have put it, that will show you the release for 7 days. So second last will give you 15 days, maybe, for example. Third last give you 21 days. Fourth last give you 1 month release of the drug. So this is what we follow the process. And I use some of the methods. So that is all of you know the reverse dialysis membrane I used there inside, and some technical things are there that if you will do, you can find out.
Sir, there is next question is there on the screen.
What is the particle size of DPI, dry powder enough? So that I have shown that my particle size I have taken NP4 and NP5, it is 203 nanometers. A few are even lesser. That what I showed, that that average particle size 200 nanometers. We can work more to decrease the particle size. How you converted the liquid formulation into DPI? No, it's not a liquid formulation, sir. I made it in powder form, powder technology. It's coming under powder technology. We have to take the nanoparticles. With this, we have to put the lactose of microfine grade lactose. Clear? So that lactose will be sprayed by you can make some formulated fabricated things. So you make a fabricated instrument. We did in our lab fabricated instrument. So that was unique for us.
Is it spray drying? Is it spray drying technology?
No, not exactly spray drying, sir. We create a vacuum pump system. So there we made like anesthesia, how we are giving, same way we made. We put it the mice this thing. Picture is there. I can show now. It is not possible. Fabricated things we can do. So it will be more acceptable. If we can, we will go for some fabricated things. It will be more acceptable for publication. Okay, sir, what is the fungal
So,
incubation period? Fungal incubation period. So that we have to check, madam. You can check from Google. Niranjan sir, can you tell?
okay, sir. Next.
I cannot say the
Ah,
right answer. Anyway, we can check this thing.
how to induce fungal infection in mice?
Or that is by using fungal this mold. We will put the
Okay.
same methods. Same methods we will use. Drug release study to make it release in a little faster way. So beta cyclodextrin, why we are giving as a solubilizing, PLGA will be solubilized, drug will
Right.
comes out. Even in beta cyclodextrin, if your formulation can be sustained release, so that you are succeed. So that's why I have used this.
So thank you very much, sir, for your nice presentation and a very good information, and also a nice
Thank you, sir.
question answer session. So please
Thank you,
accept
sir.
this
Sir, even
e-certificate on behalf of Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences.
I accepted, sir. I completely accepted this. Even I am very much interested to make a collaboration work. With if
Yes, yes,
anyone interested, we can do. We have many research
definitely.
scholar.
Now,
They are very eager.
yes,
They are very eager to do this kind of work. Thing is that as we are little senior now, we need to put the interest on the scholar, so
right.
they can carry on this work forward. We are there to guide them, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
very much, sir. So the first session is coming to end, and we are going to start the next session.
Should I leave, sir?
Okay, sir, you may log out, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Abhimanyu Dey. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear. Whether my voice is audible?
Voice is little bit low. Others are you, Gautam sir? Can you hear me?
No, 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 sir.
Voice
Whether I am
is
audible?
little
Voice
bit
is
low.
not coming, sir. Voice is not coming.
Now it is audible? Now it is audible? Now it is audible? Hello?
Yes, yes. Now it is.
Yes, yes, sir.
Can you hear, sir? I can hear. Gautam sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Gautam sir. Okay.
Yes, sir. I
It is
can hear.
audible now.
Yes, sir. Now it is audible.
Okay, okay, fine,
So
fine. I think so. So my headphone is, the mic is not working. Okay.
now it is fine. I request principal sir also to join.
Good morning, Dr. Abman.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Dr. Ravi
So how
Kumar
are you?
sir is our principal.
Yeah, yes, I'm fine, sir.
So
I'm fine, sir.
I displayed here. What is it?
Sir,
Okay, you're fine, now, sir. Where are you now? You're in Jharkhand or?
yeah, I'm in Jharkhand, sir. I'm at BIT Misra, Birla Institute of Technology Misra, working as
Okay,
a student.
presently you're there only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, do you want to try how the slide share?
Yeah. Should I share my slide?
Yeah, yeah.
Just once you share your slide. Yes, yes.
Whether screen is visible?
Yes, sir. You make it full screen. Yeah. Now you minimize it, sir. After the start,
Yeah.
you can again go.
Yeah. Should I answer right now, Patra sir?
Yeah, no, sir.
Okay.
You keep it like that only.
Okay, fine.
So, good afternoon, all the participants. It is my privilege to welcome Dr. Abhimanyu Dev, Assistant Professor of BIT Mishra, to this third series of short-term training program sponsored by AICTE. Welcome, sir, on behalf of Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences to this virtual gathering, and I hope that your lecture will definitely benefit all our participants. So before I request Dr. Dev to start his presentation, I request Dr. Gautam Jana sir to introduce our resource person to the audience.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Gautam Kumar Jana, Associate Professor, Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, feel privileged to introduce the speaker of second session of fifth day AICTE sponsored STTP organized by Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Dr. Abhimanyu Dev is currently working as Assistant Professor at Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, BIT Mishra. During his academic pursuit, he has done his postgraduate studies and doctoral research in the domain of molecular biology from CDRI Lucknow and delivery of natural antigens using biodegradable polymers from BIT Mishra itself. During his professional pursuit, he has published number of research articles in national and international journal of repute and published more than 6 book chapters of international repute. He is continuing his research in the related domain of drug delivery using drug delivery devices like carbon dots, neosomes, liposomes, metallic nanoparticles like silver and gold nanoparticles. To his credit, he has more than 200 lakhs of sponsored research grants from Government of India. Recently, he has received the grant under special call from DST SERV for the development of diagnostic kit for COVID-19. He has also been editorial board member for a number of journals. With this brief introduction, I welcome Dr. Abhimanyu Dev sir to address the gathering virtually.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jena. Thank you for your introduction, and thank you, Rabi sir and Dr. Patra for giving me the platform to share my views. So I'm just sharing my slide. I hope it is visible to everybody.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Fine. So basically, I base that I could have delivered the presentation on COVID related aspects, because right now the whole world is suffering from COVID. But still, I thought it should not be the proper topic in the related domain, means that is your quality improvement program related, the theme of the topic what you have selected. So I thought this molecular biology techniques and its application in drug delivery may be more suitable topic. So basically, I start the presentation, and basically, you know that I think so. The most of the audience is from the pharmacy background. So this molecular biology techniques, you know that this technique is much neglected, because even either in the B farm and M farm, that even in the recent PCI courses, you know that the theoretical aspect has been given, but there is no idea about the practical exposure to this particular technique. So my presentation, I think so, it is just an amalgamation of the what is molecular biology techniques and how you can apply this particular molecular biology technique in the drug delivery. And I have included a very basic aspect in this particular presentation. So I'm starting. So you all know that what is drug? As you all aware about, drug may be defined as a molecule required for the desired pharmacological effect, and definitely and the dose of drug is also very important in maintaining the therapeutic window within a certain limit for the desired therapeutic effect. You know that as I want to correlate this particular aspect, why dose is important, as you uh, that in the old scriptures, that Chandragupta Maurya, you know that Chandragupta Maurya, the guru of the Chandragupta Maurya was Chanakya, and Chanakya had always feared that Chandragupta Maurya may be killed due to the poison. So what he has done, he has given slowly from the childhood itself, he has given a small amount of snake venom, because at that particular time, the very useful technique to kill anybody, that is a snake venom. So what he had done in the scriptures, it has been well mentioned that he has given a small amount of snake venom to the Chandragupta Maurya, and in this, because the amount of the venom has been given, that is very small. So what it has done, instead of killing, it has sensitized the immune cells, and due to this particular technology, that the immunity has been developed. And number of times that it has been tried, that the king has been would have been killed, but they haven't succeeded because the immunity has already been developed. So dose is very important, right? So now coming to drug delivery, because I have prepared a set of questions and to sensitize you that why drug delivery is required, why some drugs could not be delivered alone, however drugs are the only therapeutic ingredient required for the desired pharmacological response, why carriers are required to deliver the drugs, and what is the importance of carrier or drug delivery system, and what are the ideal characteristic property of the carrier. So the drug delivery, whether drug delivery is very important, and why, where it is required, in the subsequent slide we'll see why drug delivery is important. So need, in this regard, that sometimes we say that a need of controlled release formulation it is required. So basically active constituent must be prepared in a suitable dosage form or the formulation in order to have a desired pharmacological response. Because sometimes you cannot suppose you are preparing a tablet or you are preparing capsule, aerosol, you are not taking only the drug only as the active ingredient. Definitely it has to be prepared in a certain formulation, and certain excipients are required, right? So like tablet includes diluents, fillers, binders, disintegrants, and lubricants, right? Similarly, capsules and aerosol vaccine should have suitable formulation excipients to have desired therapeutic effects. So in this regard, the need of actually in this particular presentation, I'm going to give you a aspect related to the vaccine, so oral vaccine. So that's why I'm giving a certain background related to it. So what about vaccine? Whether in the case of vaccines, any controlled release formulation is required? Is there any controlled release concept required for the vaccines? Whether all vaccines give desired immunological response for lifetime? Some vaccines require booster dose or multiple dose to give desired immunological response. In such case of multiple dose vaccine, what is the remedy? So in this particular concept, that definitely whether vaccine requires a booster dose or not, in that case, basically essence of all these formulation, basically to maintain the therapeutic window to give a desired pharmacological or immunological response using one or multiple dose. So idea is ki if you give one dose, it should be such that it should sensitize our immune cells in a such a manner that slowly the drug will release, or the antigen will release in the system, and it will sensitize our immune cells to produce the antibody. So that the formulation should be such that single formulation should work in the particular manner. So sometimes these controlled release formulation becomes so important that it becomes necessity rather than need. And now, for this to make this particular concept in a better manner, I have given a case of cholera. This particular work has been done during my doctoral research. So the oral cholera vaccine is a classical example of requirement of controlled release formulation. So just what is cholera? Cholera hota kya hai? It is, the cholera is an intestinal infection caused by Bacterium vibrio cholerae, right? And there are two strains, O1 and O139 are the toxigenic serotypes which causes the cholera disease. Large number of deaths reported in the past and recent times, and especially in the poor hygienic condition, like where the means water quality is not good, because the cholera is a waterborne disease. And sometimes what happens, the poor hygienic conditions leads to death of number of people. And WHO reported that large number of cholera cases remain unreported, according to the reports by WHO, due to the poor surveillance. Actually, what happens that in the remote places, what happens that as you cannot expect purified water, or what you can say that Kent water or aquaguard water, filtered water, pure water to in those areas, and definitely they are taking contaminated water, and in the contaminated water this Vibrio cholerae species is there, and finally they got infected, and due to this disease, basically the patient died due to diarrhea. It causes diarrhea in different people. So right now we have to understand what is cholera pathogenesis. So this by this diagram you can understand what is cholera pathogenesis. So you can see this particular figure, that is this is here you can see this is intestinal lumen, and this is the intestinal cell, and on the right side it is a blood stream I have shown. In the normal cases, what happens that when the sodium ion and the water when you are taking through oral route, what happens that it is reabsorbed in the bloodstream, right? You can see this is the case. This is normal cases. But in the what happens when the cholera occurs in the individual? In that case, what happens that this particular organism releases a toxin, that is cholera toxin, and it is made up of two subunits, A and B, and through B subunit it binds on the surface on the receptor present on the intestinal cell, and after that the A subunit enters inside the epithelial cell, and by this what it can say, it increase the adenylate cyclase activity and finally increase the cyclic AMP. And when this occurs, there is a reverse situation. Reverse situation means that sodium and water will come in the lumen, and when it will come in the intestinal lumen, finally this water and ions will be removed through a feces. And as water and ions will be removed through the feces, after 5 days or 10 days the situation will be aggravated, and finally due to the dehydration and the ionic imbalance, the patient will die. So in such situation, what is the mode of treatment? How we can treat this disease, right? So disease, there is according to WHO recommendation, what is the method? That is ORS, antibiotics and vaccines. ORS cannot be a remedy. Means ultimate therapy. You can't say. It is a kind of preventive measure. ORS could be given. It replenishes large amount of water and ions, and definitely by this patient will be automatically cured by their own immune system. And this is the ORS. So ORS cannot be a a remedy, you can say. Antibiotics, because as this infection is quite frequent in these remote areas, so antibiotics cannot be given frequently. And even antibiotic will be given frequently, the chances of antibiotic resistance is quite often, right? Vaccines is another remedy. So vaccines, in the case of vaccines, that is either parental vaccines or oral vaccines. So in the case of parental vaccines means the injection has to be given, and injection requires what you can say, the skilled professionals, and definitely when the skilled professional, when you cannot expect, because water quality is not there, how any person in these remote areas will give up money to the skilled professional. Suppose 50 rupees or 100 rupees is required for the injection, and it is not possible, right? So the remedy, one-time solution in such case, a one-time solution oral vaccine means a kind of tablet kind of device, a tablet kind of thing will be available to these individuals, and they can take this tablet, and it contains certain antigenic substance in the particular formulation. Then it will sensitize our immune cells, and slowly it will release the antigen to the immune cells, and finally sensitize the immune cells to produce the antibody. So oral vaccine may be remedy. Okay, so our project has been designed, this particular project has been designed in such a manner that oral vaccine could be a cure for the cholera disease. So cholera is the classic case of poor people where hygienic conditions are not proper, and due to remote location, multiple dose vaccination could not be given, as I have already discussed this particular aspect. So even for oral vaccination, need of one dose vaccines are required to give desired immunological response for longer period of time. As parental vaccines has certain disadvantage that requires repetitive injection to have desired immunological response. But even, what is the challenge? What is the challenge if you develop a oral vaccine or oral formulation system? What is the challenge? Because mostly the antigens are proteinaceous in nature, and when it is delivered through oral route, when it reaches to the stomach, the acidic environment, and there are chances that these what I can say, this antigen will be degraded in the acidic environment, right? And we need a formulation. The size of the formulation, the particle size is also very important, because generally we target we indent that the whole formulation to reach in the intestine, a small intestine, where the pair patches are there, the macrophages are there. They take the whole system and finally elicit sensitize our immune cells to produce the antibody. So major restriction is means degradation of the antigen in the acidic environment of stomach. Now, what is the concept? Which antigen will be generally selected? Whether any protein can be selected as an antigen? No. Generally, the surface antigens which is exposed on its surface, this may be selected as an antigen. The surface antigen may be selected for the preparation of vaccines because they are easily recognized by the immune cells. If you will select certain antigens which may be immunogenic in nature, means it can sensitize our immune cells to produce the antibody, but it may not be suitable for the development of vaccine, because it is not readily acceptable to our readily available or accessible to our immune cells. So the polymeric means first this is in the tablet. API, active pharmaceutical ingredient, is the main ingredient, and other things are excipients. Similarly, in the case of vaccine development, antigens are the main active ingredient, and other formulation ingredient you have to choose. So polymeric microparticles may be the suitable matrix to entrap the antigen. And these polymeric matrix, what they can do, these polymeric matrix may protect the antigens from the acidic environment of the stomach, and also control the release antigens slowly, so they may give the desired immunological response for the longer period of time. Longer period of time, why it is required? Because you don't need a booster dose in that case, right? Means the single formulation system will do the purpose. So in that case, we have chosen different polymers like alginate, HPMC. We have chosen chitosan, and chitosan alginate system has been chosen. And you can see that this is the figure that we have developed antigen entrapped alginate HPMC microparticles. And here you can see that here chitosan and chitosan alginate microparticles, these are the same diagram you can see. So particle size and zeta potential. I told you initially that the particle size is very important when you are looking for that your particle will be taken by the intestinal macrophages, right? The macrophage targeting. So the particle size is what should be the particle size? Particle size should not be greater than 5 micrometer. It should be less than 5 micrometer. If it has been well proven that if the particle size is more than 5 micrometer, it is not taken by the intestinal macrophages, and in that case, your purpose will not be solved. You can see that in this data, you can see that we have used I have shown the data for chitosan only here. That is, we have used the different concentration of chitosan, 0.2%, 0.25%, and finally 0.35%. And the same, this is SEPS is nothing but a cell envelope proteins. The cell envelope proteins is the antigen. We have protein isolated from Vibrio cholera, and we have prepared blank microparticles whose particle size is 0.54, and the zeta potential was 27.31. This is positive zeta potential. You see that as the concentration of the SEPS is increased, the zeta potential is decreased. Actually, the zeta potential of the particular protein or antigen we have selected, it was negatively charged, and you can see that when the in any positively charged, any negative charge you will add, then what will happen? The charge will decrease, and you can see that in the formulation the zeta potential is decreased. Okay, and here you can see that we have seen the release profile of the different formulation what we have prepared, that is 0.2%, 0.25%, 0.3%, 0.35%. We have seen that definitely that you can see with decrease in chitosan concentration, the release was much better. So higher concentration of chitosan was useful for lesser release, right? And here you can see, as my topic is related with a molecular biology technique, so this is the SDS space, sodium dodecyl sulfate. This is a particular technique used for the estimation or for the formation of proteins. You can see that in the first lane, this is the cell envelope proteins, the band of cell envelope native proteins, and in the second lane, lane 2, that before encapsulation of the protein in the second lane, And finally, subsequently, after the release, as the release has been means the particular system has released, you can see that they have released the antigen up to 8 days. So we have checked the release profile using SDS space technique. So slowly you can see that definitely the amount of protein are released slowly and in a controlled manner. So you can see the bands are appearing. You can see the feeble bands are appearing as amount of protein is less. So in the third, fourth, and fifth lane, you can see the proteins are released from the system, slowly released from the system. And finally, we have checked the immunological response, right? We have given this particular formulation to the mice, right? And we have collected the blood from the eye vein. And finally, we can see that up to fifth week, you may see we have checked the IgG antibody titer. Up to fifth week, there is no difference, not much difference in the antibody generated, but means there is a different control group. The means the group of mice, they are given only ceps, and also in the group where the formulation means the formulation containing the native antigen. So you can see that in the 7th week, the highest antibody titer has been achieved, and after 7th week, that antibody level has been decreased. But even the substantial amount of antibody was produced using this particular formulation. And these are the two means publication has been produced in the related domain. One is immune stimulating potential of the cell envelope proteins from the vibrio chloride associated to chitosan microparticles. This has been produced, and recently I have published this is a good review article related with that only, that is biodegradable degradable polymers in drug delivery and oral vaccination. This is very important, and in the last 2 months or so, there are a large number of citation has been also there for this publication. So now coming to the molecular biology technique, right? So there are I'm going to discuss the basic, that is 4 techniques: SDS page, row gel electrophoresis, PCR, and recombinant technology. Not in much detail because but I'll give you a basic idea how these technique could be done at your level. I hope it may be useful for you. I don't know how much it will be useful, but yes. So first I'm showing certain pictures. You can see this is the instrument or this is the device used for the isolation of proteins. And this is sodium dodecyl. The technique name is sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. So this is basically a tank, and actually the vertical gel is generally produced. I'll show also how the diagrammatic or animated view how the vertical gel could be produced. And you can see this is the comb, and when you will remove the comb, gel will be produced, and in this comb the protein samples will be loaded. And finally, when you will run this particular this system, finally this protein will be isolated, protein will be resolved basically, and finally you have to done the staining process. So I want to show that, and this is the instrument, that is isolation for DNA, agro gel electrophoresis. This is the instrument generally used for the isolation of DNA. And you can see this is the comb, and after the removal of comb, you can see the wells has been produced. Here comb has been added. I can see there is comb. No. So when comb will be removed, that in the agro gel, this well will be produced, and in this well you can add your DNA samples, and DNA samples could be isolated. So basically gel electrophoresis may be of two types. That's I have already told you, that is a Groge gel electrophoresis, and second is SDS phase. So as I told you that I'll show you how this vertical gel could be produced in the SDS space. So this is the animated view, that there are two plates are there. That is, one is silica plates and another is glass plate, and both plates are superimposed, and in this superimposed place, these spacer are placed on the sides. We can see the animated view, how you can, this is the spacer. And now this glass plate will be added over it. Okay, so as you can see that once the spacer, means this is the silica plate, spacer will be there, and when the glass will be added to it, the space will be created between two plates, and this is the vertical space. And finally comb will be added on it. When you will remove the comb, what will happen at these places, because in these areas gel will be formed, and finally in these vertical spaces the liquid gel is liquid solution will be added, and it contains two substances, timid and APS, ammonium persulfate. And what will happen, as it contains acrylamide and bisacrylamide, this is the polymer, and finally it will gel, and it form the vertical gels in which protein samples will be loaded. Okay, so this is the basic SDS space. Now that is, nowadays the molecular biology is very important, and recombinant DNA technology is also very important. So what is recombinant DNA technology? I'm giving you the basic aspect how recombinant DNA technology could be done. Even you can clone certain, suppose you are looking for certain proteins, suppose certain proteins that is expressed inside the cell. So in the in vitro system you can express those protein. And how you can express those protein? For this you need a particular gene. So first you have to select the vector, and in this vector the particular protein or the particular DNA which forms that particular protein, that DNA has to be inserted. So how it can be inserted? First the vector will be cut by the restriction enzyme, and the PCR product, that is polymerase chain reaction, that is another molecular biology technique. So by the PCR you have to generate the double stranded fragment, and again this double stranded fragment has to be digested with the same enzyme. Means the vector and the PCR product will be digested with the same enzyme, and after this digestion what will happen? The complementary DNA strand will be produced. You can see here I have shown that TTAA, and upper this is complementary. So what will happen? You can see that the complete circular molecule will produce, and when this complete circular DNA molecule will be produced, you can transfer this particular DNA molecule inside the suitable cell, either cloning host or the expression host. And in the cloning host, what will this DNA will multiply number of times, but in the expression host the tRNA will be available, and finally the protein will be expressed, that protein will be formed. And there are a number of technology like histidine tag technology is available nowadays. By this technique you could purify that particular protein also. For your sensitization purpose, I am showing this diagram of what I have done during my postgraduate studies at CDRI. I have cloned a particular gene, and the gene size was between 500 to 600 nanometers. You can see this is the vector. Vector is generally large molecular weight, and our this 580 base pair, our size of the what you can gene sequence is 580, 579 base pairs, and you can see it is coming between 500 to 600 base pair. So this is the restriction digestion technology. Means here I have shown now this is circular molecule. So when you will again cut this circular molecule, what will happen? This vector will be separated and the gene will be separated. So in the gel electrophoresis, you can see that this gene has been as it is smaller in size, so the migration of the band is high, and the vector is basically what you can say the higher molecular weight of the higher size, higher base pair, so the mobility is less. So it is this is the well, and it is coming near to the well, and the gene is the size is smaller, so it is coming farther from the well. So this is all about I think so. I hope my presentation is useful for the students, and thank you. Hello.
Can you hear me? Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
yeah.
So thank you very much for your nice presentation. So there is one question, just it will appear on your screen.
Okay. What about the residence time of the antigen in GI tract? See, it depends upon the residence time of antigen in GI tract. If your stomach is full, in that case, means this resident times will be more. If it is empty, definitely half an hour, not more than half an hour, I think so.
No, actually, this question is in the context like as you have shown, no, that antigen is released slowly for a period of 7 or 10 days, weeks. So
8 days.
8 days. Okay.
Yeah.
No. So whether the antigen will, whatever is not released from the dosage form, will it be remaining in the GI tract for that much of period, or what will be
No.
the fate of
Actually,
the?
yeah. Please complete the question. I'll answer it.
So the question is that whether it will remain in the GI tract, because whatever is not released from the dosage form, there is a chance that it may be excreted from the body.
No, actually, what is the case that from stomach, because the formulation is developed in such a manner that basically it will the antigen will not be released in the acidic environment of the stomach, and finally, as we have used the polymer, that is colon targeted polymer we have used, that is chitosan, we have used sodium alginate, so very less release will be there in the stomach, and we have checked the release profile also in the different pH, and as the antigen will be means when it will go into the what you can say intestine, if the particle size will be less, it will be taken in the intestinal macrophages, because the surface area of the intestine is very big. At that particular space, it will be taken by the macrophages. It will not be in the GI tract. It will be taken by the macrophages. And once it will be taken by the macrophages, it will remain in the circulatory system for 8 days and sensitize our immune cells to produce the antibody.
Right. I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
Why this COVID-19 vaccines are given in multiple dose? Is there any difficulty in making it a single dose? Do you have any idea?
Actually, see basically that is booster dose is coming into the concept. that as it is not means it is only basically if you talk about the co-vaccine is the inactivated form of the virus basically, and inactivated form of the virus, so it will just given in subcutaneously. And what will happen when it is given subcutaneously means it will sensitize, or means because the control release concept is not there, it is not entrapped in a suitable matrix. And time is not there, because the development
Yes.
of formulation system, it is not a one day work. It will
Yes.
it need time. And right now in the COVID situation, it is not like that in the single day formulation will be developed, and other necessary trials will be done within 1 day or 2 day. So right now what the government and different agencies are doing, what they are doing, they are just prepared that inactivated system, that co-vaccine the Indian biotech has, what they have developed. That is it is nothing but inactivated from the most conventional technology they have used. And the reports are there that co-vaccine is working very fine.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Dr. Abhimanyu, for accepting our invitation and giving a very informative lecture. So
Means
please accept
time
this.
is, I thought he means time is less. That's why I completed in bit hurry, because
No.
you told me to complete within 40 to 50 minutes. That's why.
Right. Okay, no. So please accept this e-certificate on behalf of Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences.
Yeah.
And
Thank you. Thank
in
you.
future also we seek your cooperation in different seminars and other ways.
Yeah, definitely. But it will be my privilege. Okay. So should I
Okay.
leave?
So thank you. Yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Abhimanyu.
Thank you.
So the session is coming to an end. Again, we have 2 more lectures tomorrow by 11 o'clock, and that is the last day of our program. Thank you all.